Hey there, Otaku Ken-chan, back with another episode of the show. And today we're going to get into a double whammy. We're going to have a two-banger. We're having a 2-for-1 sale. We're going to do two. Today we're going to look at these two systems. We're going to look at the Sega SG 1000 and the Dina 2-in-1. The Sega SG 1000, this is a Sega SG 1000 Mark II, by the way. There were three iterations. There was a 1, 2, and 3, and I have the Mark II here. The games on the Mark II, of course, work on the Mark II, but not the Mark III, and I believe the Mark I games will also work on this system. I think it's backwards compatible, but not forward compatible. The system, of course, was a third-generation system manufactured by Sega. It was released in Japan in July of '83, and the Mark II was released in Japan of July of '84. This was basically a Japanese system. I think it also went into Australia, perhaps. But it was primarily an Asian machine. You really couldn't get this here. It wasn't offered in the United States. Okay, and this is one of the controllers here. And you see I've left this hole open here to let you see where the joystick screws in, because this is a rocker switch, but as you see on the other controller here where I have the joystick screwed in, a joystick, you can screw in this little joystick here, and it becomes like a stick controller, which isn't a bad idea. The buttons aren't labeled. They're just, right or left. There's no A or B or anything like that. Okay, and of course this is where your cartridges go. This is your pause button. This is an expansion bay here. And this is an on-off switch here. And then on the sides, these controllers actually mount right to this. They kind of click in there like that, and then they stay. They're on there then, which is kind of cool. On the back here is where you plug in the controllers. Of course, you have your DC here, your RF here, your channel selector, high or low channel here. Another bay for your other controller, and then the underneath here, of course, this is interesting because you have the Sega, the Sega label here. It's in Japanese, SG 1000 Mark II. There's serial number there. And this one's in pretty good shape. And these are not, these are kind of rare and kind of hard to come across here in this country. You can find them. And when you do find them, they're not that expensive. But they're a pretty cool system. The games are, a little bit harder to get probably than the systems, really. But that's the Sega SG 1000 Mark II. And this is the Dina 2-in-1. And what this is, what do you mean by 2-in-1? Yeah, what this is the Sega SG 1000 and the ColecoVision got together and had sex, and this is their baby. This does a little bit of each. There's two, as you see here, 1 and 2 cartridge ports. Get them both open here. I got an easier way to do this. Whoop. Okay, so there's two cartridge ports here. One is for ColecoVision, and one is for SG 1000. Looking at the SG 1000 over here, the square carts are these. This would be the SG 1000, and this looks like this would be the ColecoVision here. And then those close to keep the dust out. And these controllers also mount on the side, but they, instead of snapping in, they slide in to the side like that, and then they're in there really, tight. And this is their controller. This one doesn't. This looks more like an NES controller than anything. And again, there's no A or B on these buttons. There's just two buttons here. And that's what it says. This says joystick, even though there's no stick involved. There's just this rocker switch here. And on the other one, same story. There's no place to screw in a stick on these, so I guess joystick at that point to them just meant controller. And then there's a Roman numeral 1. Nomen ruminal. This is a Nomen ruminal 1, and here we have a Nomen ruminal 2. Okay. And okay, you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, this is supposed to be able to play ColecoVision games. Well, how can it play ColecoVision games when a lot of the ColecoVision games had, you know, the dial pad with all the numbers? Well, they put that here on the console, okay, which for certain games like Mousetrap and games like that makes it actually more difficult to play the game. If you don't have a ColecoVision, then of course this isn't such a bad thing. But if you already have a ColecoVision, trying to play your ColecoVision games and using this instead of using the controller like you have in a ColecoVision with the dial pad built right on the controller, this is a pain in the butt. It really is. This is your. If we take a look here, this is a pause button here. This is your on-off switch. Nothing on the front. On the back, if you flip it over, here's some manner of expansion here. Your controller plugs. You have your RF right there, and your DC right there. And on the back, this is made by a company called Bit Corporation. Okay. And Bit Corporation was a Taiwanese firm. And this system was released in Asia in 1986. Apparently both the SG-1000 and the ColecoVision had the same technical specs. I don't know how accurate that claim is. Maybe they're close. They're close enough that a hybrid solution was a good idea. But that's the gist of this system. We're going to go ahead and look at why I reviewed the systems first is because they play the same games. Some of the same games. They both play SG-1000 games. This one also plays ColecoVision games. So what I can just do then is just show you on one system here what the games look like on the system, and it's the same. So we only need to review really one set of games for both of these systems. And of course, if I throw in a ColecoVision game, I'll let you know that it's obviously for the Dyna 2-in-1 and not the SG-1000. The SG-1000 does not play ColecoVision games. It just plays the SG-1000 games. The Dyna 2-in-1 plays the SG-1000 and the ColecoVision games. So let's go ahead and look at those games. Alright, we're going to be showing these games from the Dyna 2-in-1 because, as I said, the SG-1000 games play on the Dyna 2-in-1 and as well as the ColecoVision games, but also because the Dyna 2-in-1 has a built-in game. It's called Meteoric Shower. I don't know that meteoric is a word. They probably mean meteor shower, but let's look at Meteoric Shower built in to the Dyna 2-in-1. And we push the 1 button here. Kind of like Galaxian, but you can turn around and shoot the other way. Oh! This system has to be set to channel 13 for it to work, because again, it's an Asian system. It doesn't use channels 3 and 4. It uses channels 13. It uses channel 13 that I know of. It doesn't have a switch on it. Ooh. Anyway, you get the idea. Meteoric shower. Okay, here we are. This is an SG 1000 Mark II game. This is Champion Boxing. A fighting game. How about that? Pounding him, yeah. Little champion boxing for you there. Here's a strange little number. This is called Hustle Chummy. SG 1000 Mark II game. You're this mouse, and you gotta do this stuff. You'll see. Damn. The more you eat, the slower you get. The more powerful you get. Ooh. Anyway, it's Hustle Chummy. Okay, this is a ColecoVision game. This is Omega Race. Being played on the Dyna 2 and 1. anyway, there you have it. Omega Race. A ColecoVision game being played on the Dyna 2-in-1. So, at the end of the day, these machines are basically your interim type of machines, or perhaps, with the case of the Dyna 2-in-1, something that somebody made to try to cash in on, on reselling some old hardware for the second time, which is not uncommon. People do that to this day. You can still get hardware that's basically an NES or a Super NES or a Genesis. They still make stuff like that. And it's because there are people that still play that kind of thing. As I've said before, retro gaming is hot right now, and it's probably going to be for some time to come. These systems are basically, if you find them, they're really not that expensive. They might be a little bit more now than when I picked these up a few years ago, but if you look them up on eBay or Amazon, or well, Amazon might not have them, but yeah, I'm sure eBay would have something before Amazon would. But if you look for these, you're not going to pay too much. I would recommend these though for hardcore gamers, because unless you're going to get the Dyna 2-in-1. That one might be a little bit more for the more casual gamer, because you'd be able to get more games for it. You get the SG 1000 games and ColecoVision games for it. But again, a lot of the ColecoVision games that need the keypad, using this instead of the keypad, it's right there on your handset. It's not really the freshest experience you'd ever want to have. So I'm going to steer away from recommending these to just anyone. I am going to say that these are pretty much for hardcore, the more hardcore collector. And there you have it.